Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime and it is time to brawl. It's also time to talk about the Summer of Monsters. As you know, Brawl Talk was just released and I've used my time traveling abilities to look at it frame by frame and give you guys all the juicy details that were not super clear in Brawl Talk. We're gonna start with a breakdown of the newest brawler, Surge, and then we're gonna talk about everything else in the update, including the extra gadgets we're getting in-game as well as the second brawler, which was not mentioned in Brawl Talk. Make sure you subscribe for update sneak peeks because I'm gonna be giving you guys an early look at everything that I can with as much detail as I can. And if you like the content I make, I'd really appreciate you using code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop.
K-A-I-R-O-S, code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop.
The best creator code. That's it. Let's talk about Surge. Surge is a chromatic brawler and is the second brawler to fit the superhero theme along with Max. He even fits her color scheme, and if you look at him, you'll actually notice that he has a place for 2 energy drink canisters on his back. Plus, on his front, you'll actually notice an energy drink gauge to determine his power level, which is kind of cool. Surge is a ramp-up brawler. That is just one more brawler that I have predicted correctly. And that is why you watch my speculation videos. I am so excited for Surge. He has 4,340 health, which is a little bit more than Sprout, a little bit less than Jesse, Leon, Max, Penny, and Tara, and that means that he's on the squishier side of the brawlers. Now he has a pretty short attack range of around 7 tiles, which is the same attack range as Poco. It's not very long, but it's a lot more unique than just that. Depending on Surge's upgrade level, his attack pattern changes. I'm not talking about his power level, I'm talking about how upgraded he is in the middle of the matches. Now I'm guessing that Surge only has 1 arrow at level 1. Here's level 2. Here's level 3, and I believe that this is level 4. The thing is, the only level that is confirmed for his attack projectile is level 2. At level 2, if the main projectile hits a target or reaches maximum range, it then splits out into 2 projectiles that both fire out about 4 tiles at a 90-degree angle. 2 projectiles at level 2 makes me think that he's going to have 1 projectile at level 1, 3 projectiles at level 3, and 4 projectiles at level 4. This means that it's going to be easier and easier to hit enemies with his attacks at higher levels, but that's not all. Ryan said in Brawl Talk that his attacks become more powerful as he upgrades as well, which means more damage. At level 2, he deals 1,540 damage, which is the same as Brock's attack. I'm guessing that at level 1, it's going to be similar to like Jean's attack at 1,400 damage. And that would mean that his attack at level 3 would deal 1,680, which is the same as a full hit from either Max or Carl. And at level 4, he would deal 1,820 damage, which is the same amount of damage from a BB attack. Now, these are all just predictions based off of the damage of the other brawlers. I've spent way too much time studying and analyzing the other brawlers, so I feel like I did a good job of guessing, but the real values might actually be higher or lower than that. As for his attack patterns, I'm expecting this to be level 1, this to be level 2, which we already know. I'm guessing that this is what level 3 would look like, and I'm guessing that this is what level 4 would look like, okay? These are just my own speculations. The crazy part is that unlike Spike's or Jean's attack that split off and like deal less damage, based off the footage, it looks like all of the projectiles that split off will deal maximum damage, which means that Surge could be crazy powerful if you're good at staying alive, which you're going to want to do because if you're level 4 and you die, you're going to be reverted all the way back to level 1. This means that you should never feed an enemy Surge, and charging up your super as quickly as you can is going to be very important when you're playing Surge. Now I do have a couple of questions. Does Surge's super deal any damage by itself? Obviously it upgrades him, which is a benefit, and then a trade-off could be that his super has low immediate reward because it doesn't deal any damage by itself, but there is a chance that his super might deal some damage close by because he jumps up and then pounds the ground when he lands. With that said though, I'm actually guessing that that would be one of his star powers where he would actually deal damage when he comes down and lands. As for a second star power, I couldn't find anything in the gameplay for any hints or anything like that, but I do have an idea that would be kind of interesting. That would be that at the start of the match, and whenever Surge dies, he would always start out at level 2 for an immediate upgrade to his abilities. Now, another question that I have is what happens if Surge reaches level 4 and then uses his super, because he can only upgrade it 3 times. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and that's it. So once he's at level 4, is he even able to use his super? Would it be impossible to activate it? I think that Surge is going to have a super special ability if he reaches the level 4 and then charges up his super again. I'm guessing a giant super slam into the ground that would kind of like do an earthquake type type thing, similar to like Jackie's super, but rather than pulling enemies in, it would stun them for maybe 1 or 2 seconds. As for Surge's gadget, there are so many things that Supercell could do, but I think it'd be really cool if Surge could actually just use it to automatically charge his super. The idea would be that he becomes completely inactive for 5 seconds, and then his super would be completely charged up afterwards, kind of like Sandy's gadget, where he's able to like fully heal after a few seconds. Obviously, I'm going to be doing a complete in-depth breakdown to compare Surge to all other brawlers in my upcoming Surge Olympics video, so stick around for that. Now let's talk about the newest game mode coming to Brawl Stars, Super City Rampage. In this mode, it's 3 players against a giant monster who's trying to destroy the city. This is a PvE mode, which is why I think it's going to be a special event that happens on the weekends, kind of like Robo Rumble, big game, boss fight. You get the idea. It's not worth trophies, just worth progression. Now here's what I learned by looking at the gameplay frame by frame. The monster starts out at about 250,000 health. It's trying to destroy the city by attacking buildings, but it also does attack brawlers. At one point, the monster even jumps at a brawler and goes red with rage, as well as grows significantly larger and chases you down faster. Now, if the boss destroys the city, which sounds like it's gonna happen at the 2-minute mark, then you lose. But I also think that you lose if all 3 of you die because of the way that the boss stops after all 3 players are down in this little frame right here. Now, just like other special events, I'm guessing that there are different levels, just like in Boss Fight or Robo Rumble, all ranging from easy all the way through Insane 16. Now, what changes as you go through each of the different levels though? Obviously, it's going to get harder, but I actually think that the monsters that you face are going to change. That's right, guys. I think that this monster right here isn't actually going to be the only monster that you're going to face. I think that this is the second brawler that Brawl Stars is releasing with the update, and you'll also face monster versions of other brawlers depending on what level of difficulty you're on for the challenge. Why do I think this when Supercell didn't mention anything about a second brawler? Because for every other boss event like Robo Rumble or Boss Fight, Supercell has stuck with robots. Why would Supercell take the time to create a giant monster when they already have a giant robot that could be used for this event? It would totally make sense for them to use the Boss Fight boss to like come and like destroy buildings and stuff like that. So why create something else? It makes a lot of sense to me that they would actually create a monster boss rework for a brawler that they are already planning on putting into the game. Other monsters that I could absolutely see them putting into this special event could be like Robo Mike and Robo Spike. After all, they already did an animation of Robo Mike and Robo Spike trying to destroy a city. So like, that makes a lot of sense, right? Other monsters could be Virus 8-Bit, Guard Rico, Dark Bunny Penny, Shadow Knight Jesse, Road Rage Carl, Evil Gene, and of course 2 of the newest skins coming to the game, Mega Beetle B and King Crab Tick. This would allow Supercell to use the 3D models that they already put into the game, and then they could change some of the mechanics to fit the event a little bit better. They already have all of the assets for it, and I think it would be a ton of fun and add a lot of variety to the mode as well. And that leads to some speculation on this second brawler, who I'm going to call Rex. Rex is a high HP brawler that attacks enemies by biting them from a close range. I also think that this little hop that they show in the gameplay is Rex's gadget. Now, I'm not going to take time to speculate on its super or star powers, but I think that this would be perfect for like a super rare brawler, and we only have 4 brawlers that are in the super rare rarity, so that would make actually a lot of sense. Now let's talk about the new gadgets coming to Brawl Stars. Over the course of the next season, it looks like we are going to be getting 10 gadgets, 1 for every week. And of course, I'm going to break down what they all do for you. Piper's gadget fires off one of her regular shots, or possibly even just charges one of her next shots so that it then homes in on a target. As you can see, it even bends around the wall to hit this Frank. Barley throws down a pool that looks like it can heal him and teammates, and you can actually see 2 healing pools. So either the pools are going to be able to stay out there for a really long time, which I think is less likely, or they're going to make it so that Barley's next couple of throws will actually heal instead of deal damage, or maybe heal teammates and deal damage to enemy players. For Bose, activating his gadget explodes his mines instantly. When Penny activates hers, her turret fires a cannonball on command. Then you have Crow's, which actually looks really interesting. Now, you'll notice that both the enemy Colt and Crow are poisoned. Crow is slowed down and Colt is receiving reduced poison damage, which is kind of confusing, but here's what I think happened. I think that the enemy Crow hit the blue team Crow with the extra toxic star power, which reduced Crow's damage. Crow then attacked Colt and then activated their gadget, and then the gadget charged Crow's next attack to make it so that it would be able to slow down enemies with the next attack, which I think that Crow then used to attack the enemy Crow, which slowed it down. I know it's kind of confusing, but I think that it does make sense that his gadget would charge up his next attack to slow down enemy brawlers that get hit with the next attack. For El Primo, it looks like he summons a giant meteor in front of him that deals 2,000 damage and knocks enemies back. In Brawl Talk, it's a big, huge white ball, but I think they just hadn't finished adding the assets to the developer build when they recorded it. I am not entirely sure what Mortis's gadget does, but he starts glowing red when he uses it. It looks like he then eats an attack from Bo and no damage is done and no other arrows are fired off or anything like that. It kind of cuts off too soon. So it kind of looks like he's just completely immune and shields 100% damage, which sounds way too strong. Plus, the attack actually doesn't explode like it normally does. I'm not entirely sure what happens, but it looks like Mortis absorbs the hit, and after the gadget wears off, Mortis would then take all of the damage all at the same time. I don't know, super crazy. I want to know what you guys think it is. Now, I looked at Dynamite's clip for a super long time. I couldn't find anything, so we'll have to wait for that. Jessie's gadget looks like it makes her turret fire attacks at twice the speed of normal. And after activating Shelly's gadget, her next attack fires much longer and narrower to reach what looks like a 10-tile range, which is crazy. I'm definitely going to be giving you guys the full, complete breakdown behind these gadgets as soon as Supercell lets me. So once again, that's something we're subscribing for. Brawl Pass is getting some changes to it. The Season 2 Pass is going to be called the Summer of Robots. We are now going to be able to unlock season rewards in any order that we want. Thank you so much. And we'll also be able to go to previous seasons and unlock rewards that we haven't unlocked from those previous seasons. Now, whether or not we can actually choose the order of the rewards to unlock in the first season is still unknown, but I really hope so, because I've got a ton of power points that I'd like to save until after I unlock the newest brawlers. Now, they also mentioned that this Brawl Pass is going to last for 10 weeks, which actually translates to 70 days. That's 10 days longer than the previous Brawl Pass, which is actually going to have some interesting implications when it comes to the rewards that the Brawl Pass is offering. I'm definitely going to do all of the math and let you guys know whether or not that's actually better or worse than season 1, even when you account for the difference in days. As a side note, I think this season is actually going to be a little bit longer than normal to give Supercell a little bit of time to get ready for the next update after they take their legally mandated month-long vacation after this update drops. Now let's go over all the skins we're going to be getting in this update, as well as some other ones not mentioned, and then I'm going to speculate on their gem costs. We are getting a Super Ranger Brock as a Brawl Pass exclusive skin, and we are also getting a Mecha Paladin Surge skin as well. If you want to get these two skins, you're going to have to unlock the Brawl Pass, because I don't think they're ever going to be coming back in the future. Next is Mega Beetle B, which I think is likely going to be 150 gems. I think that King Crab Tick is going to be 80 gems, possibly 150 gems, and I think that Streetwear Max is going to cost 80 gems. Also, Brawl Stars is finally introducing a gold sync into the game, which I know most of you guys don't really care so much about, but I am so happy about this. True silver skins are going to cost 10,000 gold, and true gold skins are going to cost 25,000 gold. Now, we only saw these skins for Ems, El Primo, Leon, Piper, and Shelly, but I actually think there's going to be more than just that. Either way, I am super excited because I have over 100,000 gold, which means I won't even be able to buy them all. That is crazy, but I think that it's a great way to reward those longtime players who have really been wishing for some way to add value to the gold that we have. Now, all these skins I mentioned we know are going to be available in July, but Ryan and Danny didn't actually mention anything about skins being available in August. We typically get a few skins in the first month, and then we also get a few skins in the next month as well. And I think I already know which skins they're going to be. I think that we're going to be getting the 3 Supercell make skins that still have not been put into the game: Demonic Bow and Archvillain B, as well as possibly Zombie B. I think the first 2 fit the monster theme a little bit better than Zombie B does, but Zombie B kind of works with the undead and also kind of monsterish as well, so I feel like that would make a lot of sense. We're gonna have to wait to see though. We are getting more pins, and pins are going to be added into battle, and I've actually learned a lot from the few clips that we saw in Brawl Talk. You'll have a button in battle that you can tap on to select which emote you want to use. There is a mute button, so you can turn emotes off if you don't want to see them. Thank you, Supercell. Here's what it looks like when Nita uses her pin, and we actually learned a lot from this screen as well. You'll be able to select 4 pins to use in battle, and I could be wrong with this, but where it says happy, sad, angry, and special, I don't actually think that that's saying that you can choose from all of your happy pins and to put into the happy slot, or all the sad pins into the sad slot. I think that you will have 4 slots, and it just says the names of whichever pin is put in there, but there's a catch. You'll notice that it says select pins for Nita to use in battle at the top. This means a couple of things. First of all, we're going to be able to select specific pins for each individual brawler, which I find is really exciting. And I think that this also means that when you are playing Nita, you'll only be able to use either Nita pins pins or the standard pins that everyone has. The gameplay that we see in Brawl Talk is oftentimes, a work in progress, so we're gonna have to wait to find out the details in future sneak peek videos. In other news, we're getting a new structure called the rope fence. Everyone can shoot through it, but you can't walk through it, just kind of like water, except that it can be destroyed by certain supers and abilities. Hot Zone is coming back permanently as a mode in rotation with quests. I'm not sure how it's going to be added in rotation, but I have two guesses. My first guess is that the first slot will actually cycle between Brawl Ball or Gem Grab, or even Gem Grab and Hot Zone or something like that. I don't know. Then we'll have two other slots that are going to rotate: Hot Zone and Bounty, and Heist and Siege, or some combination of those four modes. My second guess is that Hot Zone will actually just be added in rotation with Bounty, Heist, and Siege. The trophy road is being increased to 50,000 trophies. That is crazy. I'm only at like 20,000 trophies, so I'm really excited to see if anybody actually pushes that high, if we're going to have to wait to see more brawlers be released in order to actually see that happen, because hitting the end of that trophy road, that's insane. Crow is getting a remodel, and he looks super cool, but White Crow is also getting an awesome remodel. His daggers are now a different shape, slightly different. They look pretty similar, but they're different, and they are white, which means that he is no longer the most worthless skin in the game. I guess it's time for us to start picking on another skin now. Can we all just start picking on Pirate Gene now? Because of Pirate Gene. Now I wanted to briefly talk about the new Super City environment before showing off something else that I think is really cool. I love this city environment and I cannot wait to see more of it, but I wanted to point out a few quick things. You'll notice at the very top there is a Super City Central Station, meaning that the name of this environment is Super City. So the one we've been calling the city environment, I'm actually gonna just start calling that Brawl Street. And we actually see a monorail coming out of the station as well, which, although the train cart actually looks different than the one that shows up in the arcade theme, I think that this could be like a place where every now and then a theme park train could actually come to bring people from Super City to the theme park, which I just feel like that is really, really cool. Also near the top to the right, there is a Bee Mart. I think this is going to be some type of like bee themed grocery store. There's also a star building in the middle to the right, and I'm not entirely sure what this is, but we'll find out later. Let me know if you have any ideas. You'll also notice below the star building is a highway below it, and at the bottom of the map, there's a construction area with freight train rails that actually looks really, really cool. On the left of the map, you'll notice a beach environment, and you can actually see a radio tower with a red flashing light. I'm thinking this is actually going to be doing some type of Morse code, which is going to reveal more of the secrets regarding the whole WKBRL mystery. Also, just inside of this map looks really cool. Rather than bushes, you're going to be walking around in trees, and the obstacles are a bunch of buildings, which looks really sweet. You'll actually also notice a bunch of tiny little cars that if you walk over them, then they just get destroyed. And I find that hilarious. It reminds me of an old Super Nintendo game called King of Monsters, where you are a bunch of monsters and you're fighting each other, and as you're fighting, the city around you just like getting destroyed and things like it's just such a cool idea. I really love it. I think it's a great addition to the Brawl universe. And now I wanted to show you guys something at least something I think is really cool. I'm talking about this Colt figurine, and I actually have one to show you in person. Taking this thing right out of the box. Oh man. Take a look at this, guys. Now, I actually haven't been able to show this to you guys because it was like a secret regarding this little thing. But way back when Supercell actually had their own Supercell store, then they were planning on putting one of these out into the store that you could actually go out and purchase some little Brawl Stars figurines and stuff like that. But then the store got shut down. Well, one time way back in beta, Lex, myself, and Trickshot, who's a moderator of the Brawl Stars subreddit, actually went to Finland and did some type of like a community Q&A type thing with the developers. And Ryan gave us one of these bad boys. But we weren't supposed to say anything about it because it hadn't been put out yet, and also it just got discontinued. But Ryan finally gave us permission to show it because of this being shown in Brawl Talk, and this is literally like the most exclusive Brawl Stars merchandise. As far as I know, myself, Lex, and Trickshot are like some of the only non-Supercell employees to actually have one of these, so I'm actually excited to get some shelves and actually show it off in the background. But anyway, guys, that is everything happening from Brawl Talk that we currently know. Make sure you subscribe for more Brawl Stars updates. Use code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop if you're cool. And for now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.